Hello, everyone, and welcome to Good and Well. Tonight's episode is going to be a little bit different. Usually, I'm on here and I am interviewing a guest about whatever it is in their life that helps them to do good and be well. And tonight, I'm going to have the tables turned on me, and I'm going to be being interviewed about myself. So a little bit different than usual, where I get to invade someone else's life, and now someone is going to come into my life. Tonight I'm going to be interviewed by my mentor, Dr. Natalie Sampson. She was a guest a couple weeks ago. We talked about finding your joy at any age. That episode is on the podcast as well, so you can find that in past episodes. I believe it was 2 episodes ago. So you can go ahead and find that episode as well. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast while we're here, while we're talking about it. Make sure you subscribe to Good and Well. That way you get all of the new episodes as they come up anywhere where you subscribe to podcasts. You can find it on Spotify, on iTunes. You can find it on really anywhere that you subscribe to your podcast. So make sure that you subscribe while we're at it. But yeah, tonight it's going to be turned on me. I'm going to be answering the questions. I'm a little bit nervous, but I'm also excited to share a little bit more about me. Some of you know me really well. Some of you are just getting to know me. So I think it'll be fun to just kind of let you know a little bit more about me. So without further ado, I am going to invite Miss Natalie to me, and I'll let her take over. I'm just going to be here, and she's going to ask the questions, and I'm going to be like, okay. Hi.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good.
Your face looks very sneaky right now. Like, oh.
Did I do that?
No.
You know I don't know how to do this. You invited me and I clicked the button. Now I'm here.
You did great. You made it. You made it. I asked you. I'm asking for it. So we'll see what comes up from this.
Well, you didn't really ask for it, but you did a good job of moving forward, right? With
got to be vulnerable, right? If I'm asking others to come here and be vulnerable with me, then it's only fair that I do the same and I am vulnerable back and give that same thing to other people.
That's right. That's right. So I'm Natalie Sampson, for those of you that are on here, and I'm a new face to Good and Well. I had the opportunity to be on here a couple of weeks ago and told a little bit about my story, and it felt really good. I was really surprised at how good it felt and how freeing it was just to share a little bit about my story, and it was encouraging too. Thank you to those of you who sent messages and who listened and who were inspired, and that's what it's all about. And I think it's a beautiful thing that Brittany has put together this beautiful platform to give people the opportunity to come on and share about wellness and all kinds of things that you've done already in just 10 episodes. This is number 11, right?
Yep, it is.
Yeah. So I wanted to give facilitate actually, Brittany having the same experience, and what better place to do it than right here on Good and Well.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then also, secondly, I just think that no matter how big or small your story is, hearing stories from community-driven people who've taken a leap toward their dreams is so inspiring. And I don't think we will ever get enough of those. So I encourage people to tell their stories. And Brittany, I know you shared a lot about yourself across on your website, on your blog, and all of that. But this felt really good, and I think this is, and you've put this together. So here we go. You are definitely one of those people, those community-driven people. You've taken some leaps. You're doing so many things right now. I mean, you've put together the Good and Well IG. You're the host, the podcast. You're a certified Whole30 coach. You are a fitness coach, and now just teaching every week online despite the pandemic. You just have not stopped in your tracks. There's just no stopping, right? You are an activist and an advocate for so many good, positive things BLM, body positivity, food insecurity, and just we all love seeing what you're doing. It's encouraging and inspiring, and you're a Live Strong contributor.
Mm-hmm.
And there are so many things. I probably left some things out. I've scanned through your website and things, and there's one thing missing,
Oh, it's
and
like,
I'm not sure
oh
why, but maybe it'll come up later. All right. So you ready? First question.
no. Ready?
So,
Let's do this.
okay, let's do this. Among all of your endeavors that you're doing right now, all of
Mm-hmm.
them, which ones bring you the most joy?
Oh my gosh, that's so hard. And I
Mm-hmm.
really thought about this a lot because I think I've been pretty intentional about only doing things or majority doing things that brought me joy. There were some things I was doing leading up to the pandemic that didn't really bring me joy anymore. And so
Mm-hmm.
during that time, I decided, hey, this doesn't bring me joy. I don't really want to do this any longer. So I kind of cut those things out and then started bringing things in that did bring me joy. Um, so I would say I love all of them. I mean, it's giving back is something that I love to do. And so one of the biggest parts of my heart right now is South LA Cafe and being able to spend every week there.
Mm-hmm.
I've missed the last 2 weeks because I've had other things to do with
Yeah.
my business, and it's been really hard. I mean, it kind of my brother does it too, so he'll go and he comes back. I'm like, how was it? What happened? What's going on? I like have all these questions because
Mm-hmm.
I miss it. But
Yeah.
that's something that means so much to me. And so for those of you who aren't familiar with South LA Cafe, they're a cafe in South LA, and they're an active cafe, but then also on Wednesdays they do a grocery give back. So every week
Mm-hmm.
they give 150 to 200 bags of groceries to the community. So people
Wow.
stand in line. They get there at like 11 a.m. and they stand in line and wait for these groceries, and you see it's the same people every week. So
Mm-hmm.
you kind of get to know these people, and also you get to see
Yeah.
how much of a disparity there is, how many people are really just in need. And so being able
Mm-hmm.
to provide and help where I can, I love that. That's
Yes.
one of my favorite parts of the week. But
Wow.
also I love coaching.
Yeah.
I think in general, what is my joy is people. People are my passion. People bring me
Mm-hmm.
joy, connecting people. And so that's really it, I think, for me, is that all of the things that I do really have a way for me to connect with people, whether it be my
Right.
coaching or this, even with Good and Well, I'm able to
Mm-hmm.
talk to other people that can come on, and
Right.
I'm able to help them share their stories. And so that's another connecting piece. And so of
Mm-hmm.
everything that I do, I think I love it all because I have been super intentional about doing things that bring me joy, and those that don't, kind of reassessing and seeing if where they belong in my life or if at all.
Mm-hmm.
But kind of trying to make that be my driving force, is like, does this make me excited? Am I excited to do
Mm-hmm.
this? And if not, how can I change it to make me happy? Or how do I just not do it anymore?
Right, right. Yeah. So I have noticed that though the common thread for you is community and people
Mm-hmm.
in all of the things that you do. There's just that thread that bonds all of your activities. And then of everything that you do that you're doing, which
Mm-hmm.
ones do you find the most challenging? Because I love that everything brings you joy, but just because they bring you joy doesn't mean
Mm-hmm.
that there are challenges as you pursue them. So what do you find most challenging? And then what do you do to work through those challenges for a successful outcome?
So I think that Good and Well is probably my biggest challenge, to be honest. It took me a really long time to even start a podcast after
Mm-hmm.
lots of people, you should start a podcast. You should start a
Mm-hmm.
podcast. I'm like, cool, thanks. Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks. Thanks for the advice. And
Yeah.
and it just would be like, I'd hear it and I'd be like, okay, cool. Yeah, I should.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I should.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then eventually I had a friend that was like, go on this website, start a like, because I was talking about, oh, I'm doing these Good and Well. I was doing Good and Well, but I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't doing it as a podcast. I was just getting on, talking to people. And
The
he said, well,
walkie-talkie, right?
right. It started as a walkie talkie.
Yeah.
Right. I came out and I just started doing these videos. It started that way. And then I was like, oh, let me invite some people on. So it was just kind of a one-on-one, just chat. And then I ended up, he asked me, how are you monetizing this? Can you make money from this?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, no, I'm just talking to people. I can't make money from this. He's like, well, what about a podcast? I'm like, I don't want to start a podcast. I don't really listen to podcasts. I mean, I had a million excuses of why I didn't jump into doing the podcast. And then he's like, go to this website. I go to the website. It's like this. And then I find I can strip the audio from my Good and Well from these, and I can put it on as a podcast. I'm like, oh, that was really easy, you know? So, but in that, though it's easy and to do that, I think there is a lot of challenge for me of putting myself out there, because I think that's the biggest challenge of Good and Well for me, is that, yes, I'm finding great guests and they're wonderful, and everybody I've had on has been so incredible. You know, you were on there and you had such a wealth of knowledge, and people were so excited about that one and messaging me like, I love Dr. Natalie. She's so smart. She's a, you know, like I've listened multiple times, and I had people that were telling me how many times they listened and things like that. But I think that for me, it's about the challenge of putting it out there and not maybe having a lot of listens, or having, you know, it's not like I have this incredible crazy listenership, or it's not like I have, you know, it's not this, it's not one of those things that just blew up overnight. It's like, oh, it's a sensation, everybody's listening. And I think that's something that is a struggle for me as someone who has been fairly successful at most of the things that I've tried pretty quickly. I haven't, you know, like coaching, for example, I didn't really, it kind of just came naturally to me. And it was, I mean, I was a coach, and I mean, I wasn't, and then I was, after obviously certified, but I wasn't, and then I was, but it wasn't this crazy transition to me that made me feel nervous or anything. I just felt like it just flowed. And this is something that I didn't know what would happen. I didn't know if it would be successful. I feared that people wouldn't like it. And so I guess my challenge would be that, but to say to people what to do is do it scared. I mean, I just was like, I'm terrified, and I'm just gonna like hit send or hit whatever. And that's what's so important to me, because I'm still scared every single time, because I look at, you know, I look at my analytics and I'm like, what is this doing? Like, nobody's, you know, like, it's not like this huge, I know people like it and they're listening, but it's just not what you know, in your head when you think, I'm going to launch a podcast, you think, I'm going to have hundreds and thousands of listeners. And it's like, you have 25. And that's great. And I love those 25. I'm so grateful for that. But it is that fear of nobody's going to like me. Imposter syndrome, I guess.
I hear you. Yeah. And then those unknowns that you mentioned initially, like, is anyone going to listen? What if no one shows up? All the what ifs, right? Yeah. So you just push past those every time. Is there anything you just, like you said, you just
I just push the button and hope. I hope that whatever we're doing resonates. And I mean, like you said, I've had great guests, and I think I've been very lucky to say that, or blessed to say that every single guest that I've had on has had just people that have been really interested in the topic, and the people that have come on have had great response from what's been put out there. And I've had a great response. I've had a lot of, you know, people come in or slide into my DMs or whatever and say, hey, you know, I really resonated with this, or I loved watching this, or, you know, thanks for sharing this. I never thought about it this way. So I know that even if it's, you know, even if it's 5 people that it affects, it's meant to affect those 5 people. And I remind myself that, you know, that what you're doing is going to affect, and it's going to touch, and the people that need to hear it are going to hear it whenever they're meant to hear it. And that's something that I have to remind myself of. You just have to do it, whether there's 1 person watching or there's 100 people watching, but you have to be faithful when it's small, and you have to continue to say, okay, this is really small. You know, like I'm just doing it for me and whoever's there, and being faithful in that. And then if it's meant to multiply and it's meant to grow, it will grow. But just trying to remain faithful in that time is the other thing I really have been working on, reminding myself of. Just stay faithful, stay in it. You know, it might not be what you think it's going to be right now, but it can grow, and you just wait. But you can't, just because there's not as many people, I can't choose to show up and be like, hey guys, it's me. Like, it's great to see you. You know, and it's
maintaining the energy.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, if you have that type of energy, why should you be blessed with more? Why should you be given more abundance if you can't even handle what you have? It's like, when you can show that you can be faithful and diligent over what you have in front of you, then for me, I'm Christian, I believe in God, and I believe that God's going to bless me with more if I can show him, hey, like this little thing that you gave me, I'm going to nurture it. I'm going to, like a little seed, you
Yes,
know, I'm going to make this and I'm going to grow it. And then he
that's
says, look how
beautiful.
great you've done with the little that I've given you. I'm going to give you
Mm-hmm.
more. And you just keep
Yes,
going with that of like, I'm with the little, I'm taking the little. And he's like, here's more, here's more. And I've seen that maybe not so much in just the podcast situation,
mm-hmm.
because I'm still waiting on that.
That's such
Um,
a great perspective.
but
Yeah, I'm listening.
but I've seen it in everything else that I've been doing. It's like there's just
Mm-hmm.
little things. When I branched out and did my own fitness thing, there were little things, and now I'm taking over different Instagram accounts, and it's growing and growing, and I'm getting more opportunity. So I've just tried to be like, show up for the 5 people as if the 5 people are 5,000 people, and you
That's
just keep
right.
doing that. So
That's wonderful. Wow. So, Brittany,
yes.
wow. Okay, so are you still nervous? You're not nervous,
No,
right?
no, I'm good. I'm
You're
always,
not
I'm
nervous.
that person that's like, I'm going to say too much. I'm just going to keep talking and talking and talking. So
Yeah,
just
I
say.
don't think you can say too much. I mean, that was great. That was really great. I loved the point that you made about um having just treating it, a room of 5 people as if there were 5,000 people,
Mhm.
and just nurturing that. And then how your faith works into that as well, is having the faith and obviously the courage, and then just taking that leap.
Yeah.
That's really good stuff. I can't wait for even more people to see this. Okay, so Brittany, what is a passion of yours outside of what you're currently involved in? So that's the thing I did not see on your list. I'm guessing. I'll just let you answer.
I really love theater, specifically musical theater. I
Mm-hmm.
grew up doing it when I was in high school. It was just, and that's like where I think, honestly, my first, and I look back of having that first, I think sometimes when you're young, you have that confidence, like, I can do anything. Anything you bring to me,
Yeah.
I can do it. I got this. And I
It's that
had that.
8-year-old girl, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. You have to, and that's the same thing why, like the Bible says, like having faith like a child, or having,
Mm-hmm.
and believing like a child, because children truly
Mm-hmm.
believe, like, I mean, you tell them Santa's real. They're like, great. I mean, anything you tell them, they're like, super. I love it. Like, how can I get
Yes.
involved in this?
Yeah.
And trying to have that same childlike faith. But it's the same thing, I think, with childlike confidence of you just get
Mm-hmm.
out there and you're like, I'm on stage, I'm owning it, I'm doing this.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't a child, I was in high school, but I auditioned for every single play that, that ever was out there. And I
Mm-hmm.
got the roles. I never questioned. I never was like, I don't know if I'll get this. It was like, I'm going to
Yeah.
go out for that lead role and I'm going to get it. I mean, it was just it was that confident, back then. And
Yes.
so I love musical theater. I've done it for a very long time. It was just kind of probably my first love.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been trying to. I don't really post a lot about it. I have met with a vocal coach a couple times. That it's been incredible and super fun. I took a course over quarantine, actually, of a musical theater course, just for
Mm-hmm.
fun. So I was like,
Yes.
hey, why not?
Yeah.
Let me give it a try.
I
So
mean,
I
you have
did.
a beautiful
Well,
voice.
thank you.
And so that's why I just thought there's nothing, I don't even know what the appropriate thing. It's like writer, model, actress, what is it, vocalist, singer?
I guess, yeah, I
It's
don't know.
something
And
needs to be on there about your voice.
And what's interesting is something that someone told me a long time ago that I remembered is people used to ask me, "Hi Ingrid," people used to ask me what it was that I did. And I always had a hard time being like, I'm a fitness coach. I
Mm-hmm.
kind of didn't know. And it was when I was kind of getting into modeling. So I was like, I'm sore. Or someone would like, or a friend of mine introduced me, this is my friend, she's a model. I said, no, I'm not. And I mean, because I'd done a few things. I'd done a couple
Mm-hmm.
hair gigs, and she
Yeah.
said, like, "Oh, my friend's a model," and I was like, "No, I'm not." And she was like, "Well, like, yeah, you are."
Then,
And
yeah.
and I was like, "No, I'm not. That's not how I make my money. I'm a fitness coach, And I was so
Ah,
set on this, like, I'm a fitness coach. I'm not a model.
and
But
but
it was
money is the differentiator,
right, and
right? Yeah.
it was someone had said to me about, if you don't call yourself that thing, you can never become that thing. So if you're
Right.
like, and so I think I maybe intentionally, not intentionally, leave off that part of, that I sing, because
Mm-hmm.
I like to sing. I do sing, but I don't sing like professionally, but I think because I don't do it professionally, it's not a thing, I guess. So that's something that I learned a long time ago. So even though I don't actively model, I've done some modeling. I still have it in my bio because I've done it and I have a portfolio. But it's like, just because I don't have, you know, this portfolio of music that I've done, and I've done one musical theater show, so technically I could.
You have.
But
yes.
I did this. You kind of reminded me of
yes.
a while back, someone had said, if you don't call yourself that, you know, how then, can you ever be that? So
right. It's the energy that you put out. If you don't meet the vibrational energy, if you will, then you're not going to attract it, right? Or maintain it.
Right.
Even. Yeah.
So I definitely don't, I don't have that.
I'll be looking for that to be added to your
things to do after Good and Well is over.
Or during. And that's the thing is, you know, just not putting yourself in a box. I think we all struggle with that, is trying to define ourselves under one category when it's not necessary, right?
I think I have that fear because I'm that person that I'm like, you do too much. Like, you're this, you're that, you're this, you're that. And like, you know, you just have this long bio of what you do. And so I had this fear of, you have to pick one, you have to decide what you are. And you don't have to decide. And I think that's the beauty of it, is that I think sometimes a lot of us are living by what we've seen or what we thought. So for me, I grew up with my mom doing one job the whole, you know, she loved her job. She did her one job. That was what my mom did. You know, my dad bounced around, did a couple things, but kind of in the same, he sold things. So he was kind of still in that same vein and all kind of was the same. And I think I think in that generation, in their generation, that's kind of what you did. You didn't do this and then do that and then decide you wanted to do this. It's just, that's generational. And now we're in a space where everybody does everything. And it's about creating your own for yourself. And I get stuck in this space particularly, and I don't know about anybody else, but I get in this space where if I've seen it been done a certain way, that's the way I think it should be done. Same thing with like relationship or just a lot of things in my life. It's like, well, that's what it looks like. This is the mold that I've seen. This is the mold that I should fit. And then when I don't fit that mold, I feel either I'm wrong or that I can't be successful at it because I haven't seen it been done the way that I want to do it. But that's a big what I've been trying to work with, is like, that's the beauty of life, is you don't have to do everything the way that everybody else is doing it. If your way is to do everything under the sun and it works for you, that's great, because you truly just have this life. And if I'm going to sit and be like, well, I need to focus and I need to do just this one thing, and then it's not what truly makes me happy, then I did myself a disservice, and I did the world a disservice, because I think God gives you so many gifts. And if you don't use those gifts, you're really hurting someone else. You know, you're hurting the person who was supposed to learn from your skill, the person who was supposed to hear your voice and be like, wow, I've never heard a song like that before. And now I want to whatever, you know? And if you keep those gifts and talents hidden inside, you're really only hurting yourself, and you're hurting everybody else, which I feel like we're here to give to. Yeah.
I've read recently the perspective of our gifts and talents really, they're ours. We express them uniquely as individuals, but they really don't belong to us. They belong to those in the world that those gifts and talents were meant to inspire or uplift or guide in some way. And so, it's a beautiful thing. And I think that, I mean, I'm closer to, definitely, I'm more in your parents' generation. So that was definitely a cultural norm. And I think it still is a cultural norm. And people in your generation and younger, I think, battle that, because they still have their parents that you listen to. And those parental expectations stay with you for life. And so you have to kind of grow yourself up a little bit and break out of some
Thank God my parents are very supportive, and they're just like, do what you want to do. But I think I'm lucky to have that. But when you were saying that kind of about our gifts, there was it's really, I mean, it's obviously divine, because it's just funny. But so when I have this app called Time Hop, and it kind of takes you back. but there was something, I was going through my time hop today, and it's a quote from a song that I really love. And every time I come across it, I like write it down again. But in the song, it says, what if you're just a vessel and God gave you something special? It ain't yours to throw away. So like, and that like always gives me chills, because it's like, we are a vessel. We've been given something special from God, or whoever you believe to be the higher being, higher power, universe, whatever you believe. But for me, it's God. And who am I to be like, I don't want to use that. Like, forget it, like just throw it away. Like, it's not yours to give away, because it was given to you to sow into the world, to give to the world, to make this world lighter and brighter, or whatever that is. So it's not really ours to just throw away and to say, I don't want it. And so I'm trying to, every time I see that quote, but it literally came up in my time hop today, and I thought, I love this quote so much. And then it came in tonight. So definitely divine reminder of that whole thing. It's the same. It's exactly what you were saying. It's just like our talents and our gifts are for others, not necessarily for us. It's for us to express, but doesn't really belong to us.
Yes. Yeah. So, okay, you've given some advice, and are there any certain things that you do, like, I don't know, mantras, or just certain things that you do just to push through?
I do like my Bible studies daily is like something that really helps me out, just because I need a ground to something, prayer and stuff. So I wouldn't say like I meditate in the sense of like cross my legs, close my eyes, and I have a really hard time with that. Which is why I realized
we did that group before.
Practice. Yes, we did that abundance meditation. I really struggled. But then, strangely enough, there's a whole lot of abundance that came after that. But I struggled to sit through that, and I was like, ooh. So I'm like, thanks, Deepak, but I really don't want to. I really don't care. But it was just very hard for me, because I'm used to. I mean, I'm a HIIT training instructor for a reason, because I like the fast, I like the movement, I like going, and I'm a goer, I'm a doer. I'm not really. Like, and it's my dad. I blame him. He sits for 5 seconds, and he's like, "Oh, we're going." And I know he's listening. He's ready to go after 5 minutes of sitting. He's like, "Well, what are we doing? Where are we going? What's next?" I'm like, so I have that spirit of him in me, and so trying to sit and.
Wow, that I admire you for even just getting through the 21 days. For those of you listening, we did a 21-day group meditation. Through, was it Deepak Chopra?
Yeah, Deepak Chopra.
I know, because like for me, that's my jam. Being quiet, like for me to do this interview, the voice in the head came in and said, you don't interview people. What are you doing? What do you think you're doing? And it's not just people, it's you, first of all. But then the right voice, throw away the ego, a different part of the ego, more positive part came in and said, what are you talking about? There's two Natalies arguing. Okay, what are you talking about? You interview people all the time. Every time you see a patient, you're interviewing them. It's a different format, but for the common good, right? For a certain outcome.
Right, the purpose.
You can ask questions and contribute. So so same thing here with that, but that's my jam, is being quiet, getting still. Before doing this, I definitely needed I need space around things. Like you today, you've been going since 5 a.m. I looked at your schedule. I'm like, okay, two coaching fitness classes, and then you had your Whole30 IG live.
Yeah, I did a Facebook live, and then I did a lot of stuff today.
So are you tired after a day like that? Or are you like ramped up?
I think Wednesdays are just that in general, because typically if I don't do the Facebook live, I do the volunteering. So I think Wednesdays are just kind of that day. I think those are my big day, and then it's like peak, and then it's just everything kind of goes after that. Not downhill, but it's like, that's my power day. And then everything kind of just goes, and I can calm and everything like that. But I think the true exhaustion of it doesn't hit me till like the very end of the day, because I think, and that's why I know what I'm doing is what I love, because I get so excited to come and do this Good and Well every night or every Wednesday night, no matter who the guest is. You know, I'm like super pumped to come and have conversation and talk. And so no matter how tired I am, I'm just like, all right, this is what I'm made for, you know, like this is it. And so that it jazzes me up. So I'm ready to go. I might be tired all the way leading up to it, but the second it's like, let's go, let's talk. And so, so yeah,
Awesome.
I find energy for these.
Very cool. All right. So I have just a few questions.
Yeah.
For that through IG listeners.
Oh geez. I know some of these people, so I'm like, what are you asking?
No, don't worry. It's all good. It's all relative. You may have kind of no, you didn't answer this. This is from, I'll just say the first name, Cassie.
Okay.
And what are your non-negotiables to feel like your best self day to day?
You know, one of the things that I never thought I would say, and mostly because I'm looking at it right now, but I have to make my bed every day, even if it's like right before I go to bed. I don't know why, and I never used to be. You can ask my parents; they're watching. I was never like a bed maker person, right? Hey guys, I've always had a messy room. That's me. But like, I have to clean my space before I go to bed, and like even if it's an hour before bed, I'm in here cleaning my room, setting everything up. I don't know for what, but it's just, that's kind of one of those things that makes me feel like I'm accomplished for the day. Jenny's really excited about it because she came in here and color coded my closet some time ago. Yeah, my mom's like, yeah, she was a mess. So that's one of the things that really makes me feel great about myself. By the end of the day, also, I'm a list taker, so seeing that I, you know, like a non-negotiable for me is like I want to see at least like 80 to 90% of that list like checked off that I've done, and that makes me feel like my best self. It should be some other things. Prayer makes me feel like my best self. That's a non-negotiable for me. I've got to be in constant contact or communication with God, whether, you know, I try my best to make it the first thing I do. But it's definitely something I do before bed, that I just have to have that connection every day. And hopefully throughout the day, you know, a lot of times I struggle with when the situation comes up, you know, being the first thing to do, Mom, what should I do? Instead of being like, God, what should I do? And then like work through it. So I'm still working on that too. Making my first turn to be upward, and then talking to other humans, but just talk, you know, but going up first and then going out. Cause a lot of times when I go up, I don't have to go out, and I can just like deal with it here. So that's another thing that's really a non-negotiable for me, is really just keeping that my prayer life stable and just engaged, because I'm pretty lost with that. But when I don't do it, I'm like, I don't feel happy. What's wrong? And it's like, I've been disconnected from my source. So just having the anchor to the source, I think, is huge.
Yeah. And then, you know, with everything that you do, I'll go on to a couple of other questions, but you know, with this common thread of community and people, obviously it's something that comes natural to you, but I'm always curious about this with you and both CJ. You guys are like such a giving family and siblings, and you guys are so conscious beyond, I think, the average person, and from my experience. And what do you attribute, like, did your parents instill this when you were younger? Did you guys grow up doing volunteer work all of the time, or?
We didn't grow up doing a lot of volunteer work, but I would say, I mean, my parents have always been very much of, you know, giving to others. You know, my mom is a saint, which is, I mean, I love, my dad is great too. They're both fantastic, but I mean, my mom is a saint. I would say my dad's like the wild one, and my mom like deals with my wild dad. So sorry, Dad, I love you but so much, but I don't mean it in a negative way. He's just like, he's the firecracker. He's like, you know, he's the thing. And my mom is kind of that calm. She's the calm, and he's the, you know, he's the fun. So there's that balance of that between. And I think just her spirit has always been so loving, and I've never seen my mom like judge another human being. I've never seen her, you know, talk ill about another person. I mean, that's just not in her spirit. So I think for me, it's just always been this nurturing, peaceful spirit. I think my brother and I were talking about that the other day. It's like, I've never seen mom be like, judge anybody or anything like that. So I think both my parents are just but they're very great at that. They've always been giving. They've always, you know, if they've ever seen someone that needed something, they've always given to that. And I mean, we grew up giving to like Goodwill and things like that. But I think CJ and I really kind of came into our own, just having that spirit set in us. But I think, through Black Lives Matter, I think is when we really got more involved in things. And my parents are the people, like, they're out marching at every march. I mean, they're out pre-pandemic. You know, they're at every march. They care about others. And so I think CJ and I, through Black Lives Matter, when that happens over the summer, we got super involved. And CJ had already been involved with Engage the Vision and being a mentor. So I would say he really encouraged me more to get involved, because I wasn't really, I was doing, I'd help him. He did a turkey drive. He'd been doing a Hammond turkey drive.
I remember.
Before I even came here. So he was really the one who's been the most. And then because of what he's done, he got me more involved, and I got more excited to become involved with different organizations. And so he really inspired me, to be honest, about everything. So he's been a driving force, I think, for me personally.
That's great. Well, I'd say he's among your parents, one of your biggest fans. And he has a question for you as well.
Oh, okay. He did not tell me this.
Not the first one that he sent. And this, again, it might be a little bit rhetorical, but just in the big scope of things, what is your biggest motivation? Like, if you just close your eyes for a moment, then open them again in your heart.
It's people. I mean, it's making a better life for people. I think for me, I mean, I just think our time on earth is so short, and we don't get to see what happens when we leave, but setting it up the best we can for those when we leave is what's so important to me. Is, you know, I think about it all the time. It's like, there's so much drama and so many things that can happen in the world. And I feel like at the end of everything, I'll die and I won't know anything, but it's like, I don't care what happens about anything. Nothing in this world truly matters except for making the world better for those that are in it now, so that it can be better in the end. I mean, that's really my whole purpose, is just people. I want to love people. I want to help them just have the best life ever, the best way I can. And I think that's, you know, a lot of what Good and Well is to me is finding ways to have people to enrich their lives in whatever way they can, whether it be through conversation or hearing from people such as yourself or other guests that I've had, that really can change their lives and enhance their lives. So then they can go out and then enhance the lives of others. Of, oh, I heard this thing on Good and Well, it really helped me. Let me share it with you. And then it ripples of like, of helping. And I think that's what we all are. We're just like a drop in the ocean. And so you're just a ripple, and everything you do ripples out to the next person. So there's a quote that says, in everything we do, there's no neutral exchange. We either give life or we drain life. And that's one of my favorite quotes, because there's nothing that you do in this world that does not either give somebody life or take it away. And nothing that you say. So being really thinking about that point of life, it's like you have to be super intentional about how you do feed into people and things like that. So people are important, because you are that ripple in the ocean that then goes out, and you don't want to send out a tsunami. You know, you don't want to send that out. You want to send out like peaceful waves. You don't want to create this discourse in the world. You want to create like a nice,
no turbulence,
rocking,
that's wonderful. Wow. Okay. So with, I'm going to ask you just a couple of questions about Whole30. I was going to ask you offline, but there might be some other people listening or that will listen to this later. Because I noticed way back, I don't know how long ago it was when you did your first Whole30, but I noticed like tremendous change in you, like your energy. and Jenny as well. Jenny, mother of 3.
Yeah.
And she's just
Don't
like,
know
and
how
I'm
she
like,
does it.
and she, not only did she have more energy, but she also slept better.
Yeah.
And you guys just totally transformed. And so, what I want to know is, because I know you're doing one, I think right now, is it too late?
I just finished my 30 days. So I'm doing like reintroduction stuff.
Yeah. But for people, those of us that want to do it, is it too late to sign up for February?
So I'm doing individuals right now. So if someone's interested, we can do one-on-ones. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to be contacting you
like
right after this. Just give me the info. So do you typically do one-on-ones, or is it like a group?
There can be groups and they can be one-on-ones. I just haven't done a group yet. There's just so much up in the air, with when things are gonna start again for me, and then I brought on other endeavors and I brought on a whole new coaching group. So as far as fitness coaching, and so it's like I have so much going on. I don't want to do it all. So trying to create boundaries. That's something I struggle with. So trying to create boundaries for myself of what I can take on and what I feel like is maybe a little bit too much.
Yes. That's wise. Very wise. Yeah. And then, okay, I'm going to ask one more question. It's from Hannah. And I just thought it was such a cute question. So anyone who's ever taken a fitness class with Coach Brittany has heard her say, you can do anything for 15 seconds.
Yes.
Hannah wants to know, what is something you couldn't do for 15 seconds?
There's so many things. So it was so funny because I was talking to a friend and he said, well, that's really misleading because there's a lot of things people can't do for 15 seconds. And I was like, you know what? In the fitness space, you can do it for 15 seconds. So in the fitness space, I don't believe there's anything I couldn't do for 15 seconds. In a space of like, I probably couldn't stand on hot coals for 15 seconds. I probably couldn't like hold my hand over a flame. Like, there's things that I probably could not do for 15in seconds. 15 seconds takes a long time when you're in pain. So yeah, there's probably a few things.
And when you're working out, Brittany, I've been in your classes when you've said that. It's just like, ugh. But it does push you through.
I'm just like, I always think like, it's just 15. It's just 15.
Yeah.
So yes, there are tons of things I couldn't do for 15 seconds, but I can't tell that secret, now my secret's out, but not in the fitness space. In the fitness space, I feel like, I can hold the plank for 15 more seconds. I can run for 15 more seconds. And so that's like kind of, and everyone teases me, but that's my saying. And I always get messages from people. It's like, I say that to myself all the time. I'm like, well, glad it's helping because glad it helps you because I say it to myself all the time.
Another ripple effect. Hopefully it's just in fitness.
I say it to myself all the time. I'm like, 15 seconds, girl. You got 15 seconds.
You got it.
15 seconds.
That's right. All right. So, okay. What advice would you give to anyone looking to follow their passion? I think I asked you that. But
I mean, I would honestly, the biggest thing is like for me, it's to do it scared is the biggest thing that I've had, is just doing things scared, is continuing even if I feel afraid, trusting, like having faith that if I leap, the net will appear. There's the whole faith the size of a mustard seed, and it's like, and if you truly are like, I love this, and I don't care if I don't make a dime, I don't care if no one ever sees this, I don't care if it's me and my mom on, it's me and my mom watching Good and Well and my guest, and that's it. Even then, and it still goes back to like still performing, whether there's one person or like 1,000 people in the audience, but it's just, if you would want to do it with just one person watching or whatever that equivalent is for your space that you're in, or if one person saw what you did, or you don't do it for applause, you don't do it because you want to, just that should be something that lets you know, like, okay, I'm going to do it, even if I'm scared. Because most of the things that I've done, I mean, I've moved across the country multiple times and it's been scary. But I'm like, do it, just go and hope it works out. And it has every single time. And so that's, I think, where faith just comes in, is I'm like, I don't know. I've quit jobs that had a lot of security. I quit a job that had a lot of security to go to Orange Theory. I had all, I had it all. And my mom, she's more on the like on the conservative side, and she's like, are you like, she's just more she's not gonna like jump all in. My dad's like, let's do it, and my mom's like, well, let's assess like everything. And
That's
so
moms.
and
Moms
so I
are
had
here to
that
keep
like
us
in my head
safe.
of like, let me assess this. And
Yeah.
and I left that job to go to Orange Theory, and I mean, I think I'm doing pretty
And
good.
I
So
think you're doing it.
so
Yeah.
so I would say
You're on a
that,
roll.
yeah, I would say that even though I was scared, it was just, and I had no idea if I was going to make enough money to survive or anything,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm doing
Mm-hmm.
okay. And like, even despite the pandemic, everything is okay. So just like having that faith that it will all be okay, and
Mm-hmm.
just trust in that. And so I'd say, do it scared, do it anyway.
Do it
Um,
scared. I like
yeah.
that. That's
Thanks,
really
Mom. She's
good.
like, you're doing great. Appreciate it, Mom.
Ah,
Gotta love
that's
your
great.
mom, gotta love when mom.
And then earlier I saw a comment from Ingrid saying, "But I need you," like for the
Oh, my
15
15
seconds.
seconds. It
Yeah.
helps, right?
Yeah.
You just gotta say it sometimes. You're like, I hear it, 15 seconds. Okay, I got this.
Yeah.
It's a short amount of time. So
Yeah.
except for when you're
Exactly.
planking or doing lots of other things, it feels like
Oh
forever.
gosh. Planks. Yes. Oh
Sorry to
my
those of you
goodness.
that have been through that with me.
Yeah, I have for sure. Planks, boat pose.
Yeah. Oh,
That those are killer.
yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things, yeah, that are still a struggle for 15 seconds, but we do it. And
Exactly.
we end up better for it. So I think I think
Mm-hmm.
that's one of those things is challenging and getting out of your comfort zone. And I think that's part of what 15 doing anything for 15 seconds is. It's breaking that comfort zone. It's just thinking of the comfort zone in a different way of, the comfort zone is that last 15 seconds, but if you push through it, you got through that comfort zone, you broke that comfort zone. So I think it's kind of they go together, and I think
Mm-hmm.
that's the point of the last 15 seconds, or that's the point of you can do anything for 15 seconds of is is less about the amount of time, because I could
Yeah.
say 10 seconds, 5, I could say 30
Yeah.
seconds, but it's more about you're uncomfortable right now. I know you're uncomfortable, and
Mm-hmm.
and now it's time to get uncomfortable. Oh,
You
I
see
miss
that?
you, Ingrid. So I think that's that part, though. It's that it's the comfort zone. That's what the 15 seconds is. It's more than just about the saying or the 15 seconds. It's about, that's
Right.
your comfort zone. Like that
Right.
last 15 seconds is like, I could stop. I'd be comfortable right here. And it's like, but right past that 15 seconds is right outside of your comfort zone. And that's what you got to do sometimes. So
Wow, Brittany.
I think
Well,
that's a bigger
I'm
one.
so proud of you. We're all so
Thank
proud
you.
of you. And you're just a gift and a blessing. And thank you for allowing me to just come on and interview you so people could get to know you a little bit more in this on this platform. I just think it's
Oh,
a
thanks.
beautiful thing. And I think you'll hear more from people too, just as they get to know you better in this space. And it'll be encouraging, just like it was for me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
Yeah.
super grateful to everyone that is watching and watch Dr. Natalie turn the tables on me. It's a joy. For
Thank
those of you who
you.
don't know, I talked to Natalie for 2 hours the other day on the phone, and she's like, she's probably like, oh my God, this girl can talk, and I can't.
No,
But I'm
that's
so
our thing.
grateful for just having having the comfort of being able to talk to you and share. And yes, and Natalie, you are amazing. Jenny said that, and you
Oh,
are so
thank you.
amazing. And making it easy. So those of you who don't know, you guys can go follow Dr. Natalie, obviously, and also go and find our last conversation, because she was in the hot seat. Hot seat. It's not
Boy,
really hot seat,
was
but
I. Okay,
yeah.
and now so I've been on both sides, and I'm going to say it's nerve-wracking being on both sides
Either
until
way,
you're in it.
yeah.
So I'm like, what am I going to what I know what I want to do, but
Right. Yeah.
it's
And you're
it's your
like,
show and I
is
don't
this
want
going
to.
to stretch out long enough time? Do I need more questions? Do I have too many questions? There's so many thoughts that go through your mind when you're on the other side and you're like watching time. You're like, oh gosh, oh no, do I need to say?
Oh,
And
that's
then
okay.
you're like, did that make sense? Does it not make sense? There's just so many there's so many questions on
I'm sure I
either
asked
side
you
of it.
the same question twice. Yeah.
You know, but it's always,
But
there's always elaborations. I could talk forever. Everyone that knows me knows that. I could talk forever. So, so yeah.
thanks,
So if anybody has any questions about anything that I've discussed or anything, or any questions with Dr. Natalie, you can reach out to either one of us. We're happy to.
That's right.
Well, I don't want to speak for you, but I'm happy to.
I'm open.
Answer.
I'm totally
awesome.
Open.
Good.
Yeah.
So I'm happy to answer any questions or go further into detail about my life if you care to know it. But you know,
the next episode, Brittany Hammond.
CJ, my brother, yes, she can talk forever. Thank you. You know,
That's
after I was so nice about him the whole time,
and she's sharing it with the world, like she's supposed
after I said so many nice things about him, and he just
know, and he has music coming out like today. I saw
yeah,
video.
Yeah, let's plug him while he's watching. Yeah, he's got a new song coming out.
I see that racing video, CJ.
I know. I said I had to avert my eyes. But yes, he has this new song coming out, I believe on the 10th. Check him out on Spotify, CJ Hammond. While we're here, let's just keep it a family thing, family affair. Yeah, so you can check him out. His new song, it's up in my stories if you want to look that up. Yes. He's got lots of great jams, but I'm very proud of him as well. So yes. I'm just super grateful for this opportunity and space to share, and to people want me to interview my brother. That should be interesting. They want me to interview
I thought that as well. I thought, okay, I think CJ is up this month, right?
Well, I've got this month full, but we've
I'm
got
just suggesting it.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be
I'll have
this
to have
month.
him go leave the room and go somewhere, and we'll have a chat. Or maybe I don't know if you have it like this, or we just do it in the same room and I don't know. We'll have to look up the just do a live with us actually together, since
it's kind of cool
since it's
how
COVID
you guys
compliant.
did that before. Just the way to seeing the interaction with you guys right next to each other was was the best. Yeah, and then your parents could have a show too.
Oh goodness, I wish they would.
Like our children. How we did it.
They've got lots of ideas for shows and movies. So they want to move to LA, so we'll get them out here. They can write movies and things. We can all star in them. It's going to be great. We'll just we'll have a whole family thing of movies made by my parents, acted by us all.
That would be so awesome.
You know, my mom's
really.
Yeah, we're working. They're ready. They are so ready.
Singing, and your dad sings.
He does, you know. It's a singing family. So I guess my next thing now is to go ahead and put singer on my bio too. So that's
thank you. That's right.
There's like 2 videos of me actually singing on my Instagram. So yeah, we'll see.
But
okay, I'll add it today.
Good.
That's what I'm doing. But thank you guys for everybody that joined in and for participating and commenting. And if you missed any of this, you can go ahead and watch it. Go back to the IGTV. It'll be posted right after this. And then tonight, the episode will be up on Spotify or anywhere else you listen to your podcast. So you can listen to it there. If you missed anything that happened before any of this conversation, when we were talking about other things instead of just telling each other how much we loved each other and our family. Yeah. And all that, you know, like, we love you, I love you, I love you.
Before the Love Fest, yeah.
Right, before the Love Fest, there were some other gems in there. So feel free to listen, feel free to reach out to either one of us. But thank you so much, Natalie. Thank you for this idea. This was a wonderful idea, and I'm glad I was allowed to and able to share a little bit of myself with the listeners here.
I'm so honored. Yes, to highlight the host of Good and Well.
Thank you. I was like, people don't do that on podcasts. I don't know, but I'm like, you know, it's my podcast, and that's exactly what I'm talking about. Like, doesn't matter what everybody else has done previously. It's my podcast, and that's how
your
I'm
podcast.
Yeah.
And Natalie wanted to interview you.
Right.
I don't know the rules.
Yeah. So, I mean, I just was like, I don't know what people think this. And I'm like, you know what? Who cares what people think? This is your podcast. Do what you want to do. Do what you feel happy doing. And that's what we did. So
that's right.
So yeah, it was great.
I'm proud of you.
And maybe we'll do another one if this one, you know, if people want more, if they want to hear more about my a crazy life, you know. Woo! My
Because there's
wild
some
life.
things.
There's other things. There's other things in my life. No.
She's
But
turning
if
red.
people want to know more about
I
that,
love it.
then maybe we'll have another one down the road, and you can be my moderator. So.
All right.
Well, thank
All
you so
right,
much, and
Brittany.
we'll see everybody next week for Good and Well.
Yes.
All right.
Bye. Bye,
Bye.
everybody.
Bye, everyone.